I'm less than 6 weeks out from Ironman Wisconsin. That means I've got 3 more build weekends before the taper, and it continues to be a wild ride. Overall, I would say my body is doing great, better than expected, and mentally and emotionally, I am definitely feeling the strain of having trained for 18 weeks straight. From waking up at 5 a.m. to do a swim workout and a bike workout before work, but still not getting them done until right at 9 a.m., so spending 4 hours in the morning training. I don't know how anyone would do this with a normal job. I am really leaning on the flexibility that comes with being self-employed to fit in all of these workouts. My energy level to clean up from long ride days, long runs is really waning. Bike maintenance continues to take up like a decent amount of time, and the house after a weekend of training looks like an entire team of athletes decided to go streaking, not just 2 athletes wearily dumped all their clothes and jumped in the shower. I've been dealing with some anxiety. This summer it's been showing up as occasional insomnia, and I'm also just generally experiencing like mental overload, which mostly shows up as forgetfulness. I've joked that the hardest part of training is remembering to bring the right gear to the right place, and it's not really a joke. I have showed up to the YMCA to swim without a swimsuit, and multiple times I have biked to my swim or my run or a yoga class, and I have forgotten my bike lock and not been able to do what I had planned to do. We continue to accumulate gear. For me, there wasn't too much this time around, but the main thing was I got metatarsal support pads and I put them in my shoes, and as weird as they look, they do seem to work. They really are helping with the numb toes that I have been experiencing ever since I started using clipless pedals. In terms of my readiness for the race, I'm feeling as confident as you can, I guess, 6 weeks out. I met with a friend at the beginning of July who's done 2 Ironmans, reviewed my training plan with her for the final 10 weeks of training to get any tips, see if there was anything that she would recommend tweaking, and overall she said it looked good, but she did recommend a few specific changes. One, she encouraged me to extend my midweek zone 2 rides, which I had been doing, aiming for like 60 minutes, and she just said go longer if you can, 90 minutes, even 2 hours. And she also said to take advantage of every opportunity to get in another little bike ride. Every little bike commute to dinner, all of those add up. And then the other thing is to really increase the amount of nutrition I'm taking in during the long rides and the runs. I was coming in a little bit less than 200 calories an hour, and she said to aim for 300 if you can. And that totally makes sense, and I keep reading it. Even got a little catalog / magazine thing from the feed today, and of course it's saying that, you know, top 5 fueling mistakes that people make is not having enough carbs. And I know I've read this 80 to 90 carbs an hour, which 90 carbs an hour, I'm doing the math right, it's 360 calories an hour, which is a lot. It's like you have to train your gut in order to do that. It's not just like something that you can just go out on your first run, be like, yeah, I'm just going to eat 90 carbs an hour. So fine-tuning my nutrition has been the big focus of the last few weeks. It hasn't been easy. It's been frustrating. It feels like it should be simpler than it is. But maybe there's some complications for me personally because I've struggled with stomach issues ever since I got into distance running. When I trained for my first marathon in 2018, I experienced the first of what has been a many-year struggle with the recovery from long runs, where I really get bloated and gassy and diarrhea, all the not fun GI issues. This year, I believe I've finally gotten over some of those lower GI issues by switching to a liquid breakfast before my long runs. I've talked about in other videos the Kyoku smoothie from the feed, and I'm still using it, still liking it. And we recently started using the Scratch super high carb fuel, and that has been as good as advertised. It's barely sweet at all. It's mostly just a citrusy flavor. But here's the unwelcome plot twist. Trying to use only liquid fuel in the absurd quantities that you need for Ironman training seems to have created a new problem or exacerbated an existing problem, which is acid reflux. So now instead of the lower GI issues, now I'm just having my post endurance training recovery phase is this miserable time of trying to refuel myself and kind of eat everything in sight, and then burping back up half of what I eat, being really bloated, can't lie down, can't relax, have to take small sips of like water, eat everything really slow. And of course, trying to find advice for this issue on the internet is impossible unless you search just Ironman specific, and then you get conflicting advice, but at least you don't get the advice of like, oh, just don't eat before exercise, which is obviously not helpful. One interesting tip I found in all this research is to figure out what your body needs in the middle of a ride. Try to tap into your cravings and ask yourself if you want a pickle, a cake, or a hamburger. That corresponds with your body needing more salt, carbs, or protein. So last thoughts. It has been really fun watching triathlon events in the Olympics. They are inspiring me, and I have also got some tips about transition. I don't know if I'll apply them, but it is amazing how quickly they do their transition. And I also learned that I've been grabbing my water bottle wrong off the bike all this time. You know, I just like a noob. I've been just tipping it up like this and grabbing like this, but it turns out the pros, they all reach down there, so it'd be like coming down from here. They reach down and grab it like this, and they tip it up, and they drink out of the side of their mouth. So I'm going to look 10 times more legit out on the course because of watching the Olympics. And that is all for this update. Sometimes you got to take the weekend off of training to celebrate your 4-year wedding anniversary. I need y'all to know that I'm out here battling all the lower GI issues and acid reflux, and meanwhile, Nicole comes in from a long ride and just immediately starts pounding kimchi. This bike pump is garbage. Don't buy it.